ufafanuzi. Help me say,
jinsi gani nitaeleza
maneno
yasiyoonekana kwa macho.
ndani yangu
nina kilio, maneno hayawezi.
fahamu zangu
na mawazo hayawezi kufafanua.
ninaomba
Roho wako
anipe
ufafanuzi.
jinsi gani
nitaeleza yasiyoonekana kwa macho. Ndani yangu nina kilio, maneno hayawezi.
fahamu zangu
na mawazo
hayawezi
kufafanua.
ninaomba Roho wako anipe
ufafanuzi.
This is why I cry out, ombi langu
leo.
This is why I cry out, ombi langu leo. Yeah, Roho
Ndani
yangu omba ndani yangu This is why I cry out, ombi langu. This is why I cry out, ombi langu leo. Leo. This is why I cry out, ombi langu leo. Yeah. This is why I cry out, ombi langu leo. Ndani
yangu tu.
Romba
Ndani
ndani
yangu tu.
Romba.
Spirit, help me pray.
Pray to the Father.
Pray to the
Spirit,
Father.
help me pray.
Spirit, help me pray.
Pray to the Father. Pray to the
the Father.
Romba ndani yangu
Yangu tu.
Romba ndani yangu Romba. Yeah, kama unajua unahitaji Roho, mwambie Roho, omba ndani yangu. Shandere mokota na yandere moko siririande tereme na nande. Hallelujah. Jinsi gani nitaeleza yasiyoonekana kwa macho. Ndani yangu nina kilio, maneno hayawezi sema. Akili zangu na mawazo haviwezi kufafanua. Ninaomba Roho wako.
Good morning. We are glad to be here today. Our conversation today is on holistic wellness. We talked the other time and said that we are beginning a conversation on holistic wellness. We introduced holistic wellness from the point of just being able to be whole in your mental health, being able to be whole in the body and in your spirit. The three of them connect with one another, and the moment I am not okay in one, the other one will be ailing. So today we'll be understanding mental wellness. So what is mental wellness? So being mentally well means that your mind is in order and functioning in your best interest. You are able to think, feel, act in ways that create a positive impact on your physical and social being. It is the ability of your body being that your thoughts are okay, your mind, your thoughts are thinking right. There is nothing that is hindering your thought process. There is nothing that is hindering, even like if you come up with an idea, there is nothing that is hindering that thought process of how you can be able to thrive in that particular area. So just to understand a little bit more on mental wellness, we will talk about mental health. So mental health and mental wellness, they may be two words, but they are almost the same. So mental health pertains mostly of our brain. It is the brain function, but the two affect each other. And emotional stability, whereas mental wellness is a broader term that covers all aspects of overall positive functioning. So when we talk about mental health, we may touch a little bit on how your brain functions. And of course, you realize now most of the challenges that people go through in their mental wellness are because of instability in their mental health. So both of them are connected to one another. So of course it is that functioning of your mental health. I said, I don't know whether we've been able to get that mental health touches our brain. Mental wellness is beyond that. It has to do with how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you react, how you relate with other people, and how you are able to connect with other people. So mental wellness, again, is the positive state of the mind. Remember, the mind can either be positive or negative, and sometimes it borders on the negative. We find ourselves most of the times just being negative about life. We are living in a time like, especially in our nation, Kenya today. I mean, you just step out and connect with people, and most of the times what you're hearing is people complaining. Now, the likelihood of you getting carried away by that negativity and living that negativity is very high. The only way we can be able to avoid that or make sure that does not affect who we are and our daily activities is being able to have a positive mindset. So mental wellness has to do with making sure that we have a positive mindset towards everything. This cannot happen if our mental health is affected. If I am depressed, remember those are the things we are talking about in mental health. We'll be talking about anxiety. We will be touching on trauma. I am having bitterness, which has caused pain in me. Those things hinder my positivity. As much as I would want to be positive in life, I will be affected by that. But of course, instead of now that being stable in the mind, being able to be stable in the mind so that I can be able to have a wellness, that wellness. So it is also how my emotions and feelings function. So if I'm ever moody, ever sad, ever hating on people, looking down on myself, and I'm not sociable. I'm not a person who relates with people well. I have psychological problems in terms of how I view life. Remember, we said it borders. Sometimes we find ourselves bordering more on the negative side. And this is what we are saying: as long as I am negative concerning a matter, then I will not be able to thrive. So what are the things that if I have them, I can be able to know that I have reached the level of mental wellness? One is being emotionally resilient and able to cope with life's challenges. Now, I know, of course, we would really want to live in this life that is having no challenges, there is no pain, and I am living and I'm thriving in everything that I do. But the truth is that we will never be able to have that, because what makes life is pain and joy. We will go through hard times, we will go through times that are not hard. We will go through difficult times, we will go through great times in our life. So that ability to be able to be resilient and cope with life's challenges like death of a loved one, these are things that will happen. I know sometimes when we've not lost a loved one in our families, we look at it and it seems like it's very far away. Personally, for a long time, I lost, in my immediate family, I lost a brother when I was 4. And for all that long time, we had not really lost someone who was very close in the family until in 2 consecutive years, I lost a mother and a father. That time, it looks real. Sometimes even when we are telling people, we are sorry, we are together with you, we know things are going to work. Of course, we speak it sometimes even without the understanding of the pain the person is going through. So our mental wellness helps us go through such challenges. Other challenges is like loss of a job or loss of an income. Let me not use job. Loss of an income. You've been thriving in this business, you've been doing great things, you've been doing a lot. So many things have been happening, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself, you've lost everything that you had. So how do you go through those challenges in life? So that is how emotionally resilient. How are you left without being left broken, without being left completely wrecked by the situation that has happened? Issues like broken relationships, of course, they will affect our mental status. Natural calamities that sometimes will happen, and we find ourselves, our land, maybe land has gone, our homes, like the floods that we've been experiencing lately since November when the rains began. So look at all those things. They have a way, they will affect you directly. The question is, how will they meet your emotional status? That is what we are saying, mental wellness. The second one is being aware of your strength and abilities. We are living in a time when it is very easy to copy everybody else. It is very easy to want to be like everybody else. And of course, in the internet era, we see all these things that are happening online, and someone is like, I saw this, I also want to be like this, I want to wear this, I want to be in this place, I want to go to this country. The truth is that in this time we are in, which is the knowledge age, we are likely to be carried away by peer pressure. And I know sometimes when we mention peer pressure, it sounds like it's a term for the teenagers. I know we use it a lot on our children. But peer pressure will affect even an adult. Why does it affect the adults? It's because that person is not aware of their strength and abilities. And it is only when we have been able to build our strength and abilities then this is the time we are able to use those talents, those abilities to enhance and even change the world around us. And as we are changing the world around us and offering solutions to the problems that are there in our community, what is going to happen is that we are going to earn from it. So one way of determining if my mental wellness is okay is another number 2, that I am able to be aware of my strength and abilities. Another one is you can sustain healthy relationships. You can sustain healthy relationships. Someone said that your net worth, your network is your net worth. So how you keep your relationships, how you manage your relationships, how you interact with the people determines your worth. I will dwell there a little bit. Sometimes because of not knowing who we really are and even how we are supposed to relate with other people, we end up, there's a statement we use, burning bridges. Every single relationship you encounter, is it at work, at school, even neighborhood, wherever you're living, is it even a business transaction? It is a blessing on itself, because that person comes packaged with blessings that are supposed to be yours. But when we are not mentally well, we don't build stable relationships. So every person we meet, we relate with them in this attitude of not being able to relate with them in the right way. It is either we are bitter or we are not able to relate with them. We are fearing that they will hurt us like we were hurt before. And in the process, we are not able to sustain that particular relationship that would have brought a lot of resources our way. Allow me to just give a scenario of business. If I'm in business, I get clients through networks. The people I connect with on a daily basis are my clients. So how will I know that this person I've met for the first time will become a client? I don't have the ability to know that. So the most important thing is to make sure that every single relationship I meet is healthy. And of course, this does not take away the aspect of finding yourself in wrong relationships. Of course, you also need to be in a place where you can be able to identify those wrong relationships and be able to step aside and say, I will not be in this environment because it affects my mental wellness. So of course, although we are talking about sustaining healthy relationships, is making sure also we are not in toxic relationship or relationships that hurt our emotions. The next one is you are able to work productively. You are able to work productively. Now, look at a scenario where we are working in a company and maybe we are like 20, 30, 50 people. Regardless of the position one is serving, from that of the cleaner to the one making tea in the office, to the head of department, to the one who is on top there must be a way you are connecting with one another. Your mind has to be very stable so that you can be able to relate with each other, and how well you relate with one another is going to determine your productivity. If every time you get into the office and what happens is conflict after another, or maybe you're told to do something and you don't do that which you've been told, what is going to happen is that your productivity is going to be reduced, because you will take a lot of time dealing with hurt, you take a lot of time dealing with bitterness, you take a lot of time dealing with things that are not part of the work environment. Go to the family. If a husband and a wife are ever fighting or they are ever disagreeing over things, what is going to happen is that the children will be highly affected. And sometimes we don't see it. We don't think it does, because when our mentor, we are not mentally well. We are so clouded by those things that make our mental status unwell, that we are not able to see the consequences of our actions. The other one is you are engaged. You are engaged with your relationships. You are engaged with people in a better way. All your engagements, is it business, is it family, is it even in church, everywhere we are, how we do things looks normal. We will not have conflicts everywhere we go. I think I can repeat very fast. Of course, being emotionally resilient and able to cope with the life's challenges, being aware of your strength and your abilities. You can sustain healthy relationships. This is how you can know that your mental state is okay. You are able to work productively and you engage with your relationships right. So what are these tips that I can be able to use to improve my mental health and mental wellness? What are these things? What are the tips that I can be able to use to improve my health, mental health and mental wellness? One is get involved. Work on, the most important thing is work on your mental wellness. Make sure you're emotionally stable. Make sure you are emotionally stable. I know we like saying, and when I'm mentioning emotions, it's good to mention the kind of emotions maybe we are talking about. We are talking about of issues of anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. Of course, there are other positive emotions like love, resilience, enthusiasm. So when I have been able to work on my negative emotions and improve on my positive ones, what happens is that I will be able to impact people more because I've been able to work on them. The next one is working on being intentional about working on relationships. I know there are these statements you hear. Sometimes we make, I used to make them also, that if someone hurts me, I cannot talk to them. And someone is even very, you even feel very proud about that statement, that I have stayed for 20 years without saying hi. I was there. The truth is that it will transfer from this one particular person, and before you know it, you will have around 50, 20 people, 100 that you don't talk to, because it's a habit that develops with time. So before you know it, you are in this place where you have so many people you are not okay with, that you don't even understand, or you keep breaking relationships that were very important, relationships that would have even transformed your life or transformed the lives of others. And the worst part of it is that we hurt the people that we love the most. That is our family. When we don't know how to handle relationships right, we find ourselves hurting close people to us. We will hurt our children. We will speak hurtful words. We are going to speak even to our spouses, or we will hurt them. Yet the intention was not to hurt them, but because I am not emotionally well, I find myself hurting them. Then, of course, understand your strength and weaknesses. I know it is easy to go understand your strength, but one of the things I've realized is that we don't want to know. We look at understanding weaknesses as if it is something that is negative. When I know I am having a challenge with anger, that is a weakness. so I can work on it. When I realized I have bitterness and envy, every time I hear people have improved or the things they're doing so well in life, I feel bad about it. Definitely, that is a challenge. So it is a weakness. The only way to be able to work on those things is when we identify them. Then as you identify the weaknesses, also identify the strengths. So look for things. What are these things that you're very good at? What is this that you're very good at doing? And you know for sure, if I do this, this is going to, of course, change and transform a life. If I were to use, maybe my example here is now what I do or what I am doing. I like impacting people. I like changing people's lives. I want to see lives transformed. I want to see people changing from that environment of being mentally unstable to being able to thrive and become productive in life. That is my passion. That is what drives me. But it is not something I began doing from the beginning. I had to identify that desire within as I was working on my weaknesses, like that one I talked about, bitterness and keeping grudges for a long time, and of course issues like unforgiveness. So as you're working on your strength, you're also working on your weaknesses and trying to manage them and making sure that they are not interfering with your relationships. So the next one, of course, is take a hobby. Look at what is this that you like so much. And now this is beyond work. What is this that you like doing, and when you do it, you thrive? It is important because it helps, of course, in your mental wellness. Read books, study. I know we are living in a time when we do not like books, but it is a culture we need to be intentional in building. If you do not read books, please do your best to help your children to read. Because if you don't guide them and help them to like reading books, what is going to happen? They will also, you miss out a lot. There is so much content that is on books, that is written on books, but sometimes they're just in our shelves. I'm just talking this and I'm looking at where my books are, and I imagine how many of them that I've not been able to open. There is so much content in books. Please let us not just go online and just watch things and laugh about them. We can be able to spare 1 hour, spare 2 hours in a day and study books that are transformative. Read about other nations. Read about what they are doing that is different from us. What is this that they have done and they have been able to improve as a nation more than what we are today. But if we do not read, of course, we will remain, everything we handle it as a level of mediocre. And of course, remember, as Africans, allow me to now narrow it to us. Sometimes we like, even our discussions, sometimes you listen to them and you can clearly tell that thought is not well thought. We can be able to do research. We can be able to study and understand concepts so that we can also be able to change and transform the world around us. The next one is, of course, give. That is volunteer your time. Give to a person. Give to someone who cannot be able to give back to you. I know we are living in a time where giving is not really welcome. Okay, the culture we are coming from, we were not cultured to give. I feel like we were cultured to receive. And we really like receiving. But there is no greater thing like when you go give someone who cannot be able to give back to you, it gives a great satisfaction. And the best time to give is when you don't have. And the challenge with giving is that we imagine that giving has to do with money. Giving is not money alone. We can give our time, we can give our resources, we can give our Like now I can volunteer to offer counseling to someone that does not need money. I can go visit a sick person that does not need money. I can be able to check on my wardrobe, pick a few clothes, give it to somebody who needs them. That does not need money. Now the challenge is when we think about the giving and we start imagining how I don't have anything to give, then of course we will never give. Why give? Because of course there is that satisfaction, there is that, you feel proud when you change someone's life. And of course it improves your mental wellness. Listen to music, good music. I know we may be inclined to different kinds of music, but music has a way, because music speaks to the soul. It speaks directly to the mind. So the content we are listening to, even in music, and this one will even go to books, the content we feed our mind with. Sometimes you may go, yes, you are listening to music and you think it's good music, but as you're listening to that music, it's depressing. It is giving you information that is depressing. So you need to be very careful on the content or the lyrics of the music that you're listening, because you may come out of that place worse. Maybe when we are at that, allow me to just pause and go a little bit off. How do we receive information into our mind? We receive information through what we see, we receive information through what we read, we receive information through what we hear and what we touch and the environment we are in. Those are the receptors, what gives us information. Now, once that information has gotten into our mind, we cannot change it. We cannot transform or change the information we have already fed our mind. And many of the mental health issues, we are struggling with them because of information we stored in the mind which was wrong. How do people get addictions? Like things like sexual addictions, especially when someone has watched constant pornography. They fed at the point of the first time. It doesn't look like anything. It just looks an innocent video I watched. Interesting. But the truth is, the moment it gets into the mind, it has a way, it changes, it transforms me. And I find myself being hooked to that. So if there was a way I was able to avoid having that information ever getting into my mind, I have saved myself. So the information we allow into our mind, including music, there is music that is highly erotic. If I constantly listen to that music, there is no difference between that and watching pornography. It will have an impact in my mind. And the moment it has that impact in my mind, it is going to inform how I live. So I was talking about information. So I get information, it gets into my mind. In my mind, my mind now starts informing my emotions and feelings, and this dictates my behavior. So and that's why the Bible says that from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The heart is not the heart that pumps blood. It is the mind. It is what we store into our mind. And that's why even when we go to the Bible, Romans chapter 12 talks about allowing our mind to be transformed by the water of the word. When we allow God to be the one now transforming our mind, we have saved ourselves, and our behavior is changed and transformed. So, as we are talking about mental wellness, there are all these things that we find ourselves exposing ourselves to. Sometimes we think it is just an innocent situation, it's not a big deal. We go to strip clubs. people dancing when they are naked. We get into clubs, we drink. People are using vulgar language. And you think it doesn't have any impact on your wellness. It will have a grave impact on your mental wellness. And as I'm speaking, I'm almost imagining how many people have been put bondage by those things that we have exposed ourselves to. But of course, we will blame the government. This government is doing. We will blame our parents. We will blame everybody else. But on most occasions, we will never blame ourselves. The next one is improve your sleep quality. I talk about quality of sleep. I almost feel like I'm talking to myself. I find myself not able to sleep so well. But yes, make sure that you take enough time to rest. Because it is when we sleep, that is when we are able to rejuvenate. There is a lot that happens in our mind or in our body during the time of sleep. Our brain gets time to rest. We are able to, many cells are able to be rejuvenated during that time because we are not in an action mode. So sleep is very important. Although sometimes we don't take it serious. Of course, we say an average of between 6 to 7 hours. Make sure you have a sleep of that long. Be grateful. Be grateful. Look at life with positivity. There is something you can thank, you can be grateful for today. Things may not be working. Everything else may be looking like it is not working. But if you can start just being grateful. And the very first one is just that you are breathing. Because the fact that you can be able to know things are not okay, it means you are alive. Otherwise, if you could not be alive, you would not have known things are not okay. So you are breathing. Those are some of the things. Being grateful, being thankful of what is right, keeping the right friendships, keeping the right company, keeping people who are positive, and also keeping people who build you every day. If the company you keep are people who complain every day, your mental wellness is going to be affected. If the people you keep are those who are talking ill of our nation or governments, and all they talk about from morning to evening is how this nation is going to go down, I am assuring you, you will have mental issues. If all that you're hearing every day is how we do not have money, how you don't have money, when will you think about getting that, looking for that money? You won't. So the company you keep, and remember, as we are complaining how the nation and everything is going down, people are building, people are buying new cars, people are going abroad, children are going through school, people are doing great things, people are receiving billions in their businesses, but we are complaining. So the company you keep is very important. I have personally chosen, I will not listen to the naysayers. I will not listen to people who nag every other time and complaining, because it will not help me. The much that it is going to do is depress me. So instead of being depressed, let me look for something I can be able to do and cause a change. And of course, there goes the statement that if you want to see change, let change begin with you. So even as we complain sometimes, what change are we doing? What is it that we are doing that is causing change? Of course, reduce stress. Make sure you are not stressed up. Make sure you are not overwhelmed by so much that is happening to you. And of course, if it is too much overwhelming, all these things we have talked about here, go seek for help. Counselors are out there. I know we are out of those seasons when we used to say that people who go to see counselors or mental health experts are mad. We are out of that season. everyone, even a normal person, needs to be mentally well. So thank you so much. That is the much we've been able to have a conversation on. I'm just really looking forward to hear from you, see your comments and answer questions, and see how we can be able to be a blessing to one another even on this platform, and be able to become a blessing to us. There's a lot to do. Yes, I was trying to see whether we have questions online. I can't see any, but I am looking forward to hear from you concerning mental wellness. Of course, next time we'll be talking about something else, but those are some of the things. If we are able to look into them, then our lives will be great. We are going to be highly transformed, live a life that is productive, that is changing nations, that is changing and transforming the lives of many. So thank you so much. My name is Anne Karambu Mwangi. I am a counselor, a life coach, an author of books, and this is God of Wonder TV. God bless you so much. Have a blessed time.
You are God of Wonder TV, to refill, refresh, and resent by the word of nation. You are watching God of Wonder TV, to refill, refresh, and resent by the word of nation.